I'm not ready.
All right, this is going to be a exam review for you guys for the second 9 weeks. So these are final exam reviews. So I'm going to try to run through these problems semi-quick. Please, 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 a million times, make sure you ask me the questions if you guys have any more questions on this stuff. I'm just going to go through how to do this stuff real quick. All right. So with number 1 here, we have number 1 and 2. We have what is the inverse of the given relation. Don't forget for the inverse, you switch x and y exactly how they are. So there's the work for both 1 and 2. And then you continue solving for y. So notice in this one, I switched x and y exactly where they are in the equation. So here I'm going to add 2, divide by 2. So there is adding 2. Now divide by the 2 so that I have y squared by itself. And then I take the square root to get the y by itself. And whenever I take the square root, that's why there has a plus or minus right there. Let me zoom in just a little bit for you guys so you see this a little bit better. Come on, camera, zoom in. Zoom in. You know you want to. You know you want to. Yes. Yeah, so pretty. All right, so plus or minus square root of x plus 2 divided by 2. And the other one here, I switch x and y exactly where they are. I'll solve for y again, so subtract the 6, divide by the 2. So we have this as our inverse function. Notice on both of these I have inverse notation, so y to the negative 1. On number 3, you can just graph this in your calculator. So just be careful when you graph it in your calculator. I probably need something to write with. When you type this in, go to your y equals, and you have negative 0.5. Times, you'll need to use the square root function. It'll come up like that, and you'll have a parentheses x minus 3. Make sure you close your parentheses and do plus 2. And then, since this is a multiple choice, all calculator exam, what you can do is just pick whichever one matches what you see in your graph. That's really all that you guys need to do here. So for your exam review, all I expect you to do is just graph somewhat about what our function looks like. You'll see it looks something like that in your calculator. All right, moving on, number 4. So for number 4, it says what is the solution of the equation. So the very first thing that I did, get out of my way stuff, get out of my way. Alright, so the very first thing that I did is I moved that 8 to the other side. So I added 8 to both sides so that I had plus 8, and now I have it equal to 6. So since I have a square root, I can square both sides. So I have 2x minus 10 equals 36, and then it's just a matter of solving for x again. So add the 10 to the other side, and I have 46 divided by 2, and x equals 23. For this one down here, to get the square root by itself, I would add 3. So add 3, and that's x, square root of x minus 7 equals 9. Square both sides, x minus 7 equals 81. Add the 7 to the other side, so x equals 88. Beautiful. All right, number 6 is a little bit more challenging, but it's still not too terrible. You just got to pay attention to a couple things. So when you add this 5 to the other side to get the square root by itself, take the square root of both sides. Don't forget that this x plus 5 squared is really x plus 5 times x plus 5. So that I need to distribute the 5 and the x to both things over there. So that'll give me to 2x plus 13 equals x squared plus 10x plus 25. And then this thing is a quadratic, so I want to set it equal to 0. Then I can factor it, and then I can give my solutions. And the reason that I only have negative 2 circled here is because if we put in negative 6, we have to have the square root of 2 times negative 6 plus 13 minus 5 equal to negative 6. This is always going to come out a positive number. So this would have to come out a negative number. Also, even if you move over the 5, we would have square root of negative 12 plus 13 equals negative 1. The square root is never going to be a negative number. That would only happen with imaginary, so that is why the negative 6 is not actually a solution. Negative 2 is the only one that will work. With 7, it's a little bit easier to get square root by itself. Just subtract 4, square both sides, so y equals 16. All right, so now ones like these. These were your favorite, right? Yeah, these were the best. If you have a fraction equals a fraction, I would just cross multiply. So that's what I did over here. So I got to, get out of the way, mouse. Why are you even on there? Negative 4 times x plus 5 equals negative 1 times x plus 1. Distribute. So I have, here I added 4x to the other side, so that gave me 3x, and then I add 1 to the other side, so that gives me negative 19 equals 3x, divided by 3, negative 19 over 3 is our solution. Alrighty, number 9, I can do the same sort of idea, so I cross multiplied. I did c plus 3 times c plus 5, c plus 3 times c plus 5 equals c minus 8 times c minus 4. Distribute, subtract c squared, so when I subtract c squared, that makes 0 there, and that makes 0 there. And then I'm adding the 12c to the other side, so that gives me the 20c. And if I move the 15 to the other side, that gives me 0 on this side. 12c's are gone over there, and then 32 minus 15 is 17, divided by 20, 17 over 20. All right, this last one is probably the most challenging one on this page. But if you can get a common denominator, because this factors as x plus 3 and x minus 3, then you can get a common denominator because all this one is missing is the x plus 3. So if I multiply this one by x plus 3 over x plus 3, so that's how I got to 6 over the factored form minus 1 times x plus 3 over x plus 3 times x minus 3, then I can combine these things because I have minus all of this junk. So I have 6 minus that over the common denominator. If you multiply the x squared minus 9 to the other side, you have 6 minus x minus 3 equals x squared minus 9. This is again a quadratic function where we have an x involved, so you want to set it equal to 0 and factor to get your solutions. The reason that I do not have 3 as a solution is because if I look at my original function, if I put in a 3 minus 3 is 0, but I know I cannot divide by 0. Still not possible. Alright, there's 1 through 10. I'm going to make another video for 11 through 20. Alright, see you guys in a minute.